Hi Kiwi. All right, we are back at Hades 1. We're going to be running the rail using the aspect of Hestia, which does a increased base damage on the first hit after a reload. We're going to be running the Shattered Shackle and trying to run Boonless again and see how that goes. I'm going to do 3 levels of extreme measures to get us to the heat we need, and let's go ahead and see how this goes. Now, our previous Boonless run was almost good. Oh, cool. We're starting with a hammer. That's a good start. Triple bomb. You can use your special 3 times in rapid succession. These are all actually really good to my understanding. Rocket bomb I know is really strong. If you can get triple bomb and rocket bomb, maybe that would be amazing. But we'll take triple bomb just because we haven't gotten it before. Okay, I see how that works. So the way this build works is, we really want Aphrodite on this build if we can get it. So I'm gonna risk this. Wait, I just realized I'm trying to go Boonless. What am I doing? All right. Well, I have to train myself out of that mentality right away. But basically, the way this works is I shoot, I reload, and I dodge, and that's basically all I do. 1 shot, 1 kill is the way this works. As you can see, we are using the mirror boot benefit that makes us deal more damage to enemies the first time we haven't hit them. Hold the onions to clear an infernal gate without taking damage.
No need to worry any longer, dearest. I bring you strength and comfort, and I shall be watching every step of yours most carefully.
So in theory, I can get the Boonless conversation at the end of the run, so long as I purge all my boons prior to fighting Hades. I don't know if that is true or not. So obviously this isn't going to be a true Boonless run, but the goal is to basically get custom dialogue that the game offers by having no boons at the end of the run. In Tartarus, it's pretty hard to avoid all boons altogether. Granted, I did have a way out. If I had lost the Erebus Gate and taken 1 damage, I wouldn't have gotten Aphrodite's boon. But with all that said, like I said, my goal here is as soon as I find a pool of purging, I will sell this boon. I think this is an instance where triple bomb comes into play because I cannot kill these enemies very quickly with my single shots. So the Hestia boon is very clearly a burst sort of weapon. We want boons, if we were building it, we would want boons that have a lot of base damage on the basic attack. But as you can see, actually taking the Hestia boon has caused me to deal less damage with my attack. It was doing 270, now it's doing 240, which is amusingly still more than enough. But think about it this way, triple bomb is really strong. And we still have the 100% damage increase on it from the Shattered Shackle. And again, as soon as I can afford to, I will sell this for something better. Or, well, not necessarily for something better, but for something else. Chaos boons, on the other hand, do not count for not going boonless, so we can take offerings from Chaos. It's basically, Dad gets upset at us for taking Olympian boons, not chthonic boons, I suppose. I don't think racism is the correct term, but I guess, like, geographical distaste? I don't know.
Going in.
So we can use Chaos here to avoid the Poseidon room, which is great, because the fewer boons we have to purge, the better.
Darkness.
The burden of the passing time shall force a choice from you.
Let's see. Special, more coin, more damage, striking undamaged foes. Perfect. That works pretty well with our build here, I guess. So we'll take Excruciating Assault, take 27% more damage, and after clearing all those rooms, deal more damage, 31% more damage to foes that have never been hit before.
Hey, lads.
We'll focus down one before we switch to the other, but like, look at that. We kill things really fast. The Hestia Rail, I think I mentioned in a previous playthrough, is extremely strong with the right build. And even without the right build, frankly.
Good.
I have grown closer than expected with the goddess Nyx in all of this, cousin. It is quite evident to me how much she cares for you. I must admit I envy your relationship sometimes, for I've made do without a mother's presence in my life.
I wonder who Athena's mother is. I assume it's not Hera, based on that commentary, because I know Hera is still up on Olympus. Again, my base knowledge of these is unfortunately a bit low. I shouldn't have taken the special because honestly the damage from triple shot was pretty good, but what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to just focus on trying to find keys where possible, and Fated Persuasion, or Forced Persuasion, I forget what it's called, but the the mirror boon that makes it so I can avoid, or I can reroll doors. I'll use that to try and avoid boons going forward since I have so many already. I have 4 rerolls. But I'll take what rooms I can get in the meantime. Another thing that helps this build go a longer way is I can buy things from the Well of Charon that might grant me a whole bunch of extra damage. Like if I get a damage up from the Well of Charon and find a way to extend its duration, that could be pretty strong.
Back to dust.
But
A curse of chaos. Has
conveniently,
expired.
this does feel fairly intuitive on how it works. And here's an example. For 6 encounters, your attack deals 30% more damage. Sure, we'll gladly take that. Nectar or the shop? We're going to take the nectar because I just need to stock up on that anyway. But basically the way this works is reload, shoot, reload, shoot, reload, shoot, and just watch your enemies just get popped. Didn't see where that one was. And the crazy thing is this weapon has so much range on top of its ridiculous damage. It's just such a good weapon. This is definitely a weapon that I would recommend if you are new to the game and are looking for a relatively easy win. Rebind your reload button to a bumper or a trigger to make your life easier, and then just upgrade the Hestia rail. Go for Aphrodite attack for the highest base damage on the attack, and just roll with it and watch what happens. Because as you can see, I'm currently running the Aphrodite attack, and it is very strong.
You cannot escape.
Alright. So this is just a room to farm up coins, because we're not using... So apparently these rooms do not spawn if you're using Tight Deadline, which is I find interesting. They have a lot of enemies, which is great for farming gold, but not great for single target weapons like Hestia. So Hestia's strength comes from its single target DPS. It DPSs things like no tomorrow, but these skulls are actually kind of a point of contention for it because it cannot damage them, all. And it's definitely better to deal damage over,
Almost.
or it's definitely better for your DPS if you just load the rail and fire, but it's hard.
What do we have?
They had their chance.
But we're stacking up coin pretty fast. I'm going to take the shop here. Yeah, I'll just take the shop here. Or I guess I could have gone for the just so that there may have been a...
Well, look at you, Charon, mate. You're looking well. Something's different about you. Can't quite put my finger on it. Have you done something with your hair?
No, it's the hat.
Ha, I knew it.
Charon has beautiful flowing locks. So we're going to need to restock up on as much darkness as we can, because we had 3,000 and now we're down to 1,500 from all the things I bought.
Waiting, ladies.
Ready, sister.
But it was worth it. It was so worth it.
What? Where did you get the rail? Do you know what you have? Where are your customary weapons?
I left them at home, and I sort of know what I have, in as much as it's largely responsible for getting me this far. Would you like to see a demonstration?
Yes, I would. I always have, as a matter of fact.
Alright, so basically, this is how we play. One thing I can do is while I'm reloading,
A taste of
I
this.
can start casting my special, because the animation of reload does kind of overlap with the special channel. I just have to get used to the button press.
Now.
It seems like what I most comfortably do is I just dash, and that's fine too. But just look at her HP get popped. I find it funny that this consistently one-shots enemies on this floor. But there we go, an easy peasy Meg. Still a relatively slow Arteris,
That time, Meg.
but that's fine.
Found you.
We were only 2 milliseconds over, or 2/10ths of a sec. How do we say? Yeah, 2/10ths or 200ths of a second over what we needed.
Already made it out of Tartarus.
So let's go ahead and sell all of our boons. Sitting pretty on coin. Nothing here that I particularly want. So now that we've made it to Asphodel, we should be more reliably able to avoid taking boons. fewer god boons tend to be offered on Asphodel, but like I said, I'm gonna run for rooms that have keys so we get the free rerolls out of them.
The bloodless lie in wait out there, I guess.
So yeah, I'll aim for key rooms. Of course we get a Hermes boon on the first... Oh, right, I was supposed to reroll. Ugh. Well, clearly I'm doing great. I'm trying, Kiwi, I swear. I'm just not used to playing this way, so there's a little bit of a learning curve, it would seem.
Gone.
If you do, so anyway, I was saying if you do want to run this build for an easy, like, higher heat or, like, first clear kind of run, the way you do it is you get Aphrodite's attack for the highest base damage on the attack, especially if you're not planning on running Shattered Shackle, which would be the objectively highest.
Another message here. It says 1 small spoon dried oregano, 2 spoons extra virgin olive oil, 1 large onion, minced, a dash of salt to taste. Wait, this isn't for you. Though you should try it sometime if you ever make it out.
Sounds like a very good sauce. Alright, so I guess we'll just use Side Hustle to further up our coin.
Than ever.
We'll take the Chaos Gate here again. See if we can roll a proper attack. But yeah, so I don't expect new players to really have leveled up the Shattered Shackle, let alone have access to it. Ooh, hello there. Halting Defiance. For the next 3 encounters, your dash has less than reduced 50% range. Afterwards, you gain 1 use of Death Defiance for just the escape attempt. We don't have anything else that I would want, so sure, we'll take that. Ooh, that's gonna be rough. It's a good thing we're not getting this right before Larny, because that would make it really hard to deal with him. In the meantime, we've got Thanatos.
I have returned. Good, I'm not too late. Got here as quickly as I could. Let's get to it then.
Absolutely.
I'm just not even gonna bother dashing, honestly. Unfortunate when enemies spawn on the Thanatos circle, there's literally nothing you can do to stop them from getting killed by it, other than hoping that they dash out of it, which they often do, which is kind of funny when things leave Thanatos' domain, if you will. Would you kindly let me out of this corner? I was just getting...
How many more of these
I just got absolutely demolished in there. I'm just gonna let him kill that guy. Like, I couldn't dash out because I kept getting hit. Okay. Turns out, having your dash range reduced by 50% is pretty substantial. A pretty substantial nerf. We're still winning this challenge. Like, there's no way he's out killing us here.
Farewell. Right there.
There we go.
I'll write this one off.
1 Centaur Heart, please, sir. Than, I think he's stuck on those pots. Hold on. There we go. He was stuck on the pots.
Quick.
Alright, what do we got? Alright, so we'll take the shop, because I need some HP. I have plenty of coins, so I can definitely afford something from the shop. But, so, for the optimal boon, really it's just Hestia's attack, and then you want Ares. Ares has a boon. Ooh. Oh gosh, could you imagine fighting Charon with 50% reduced? I'm not gonna do it. This isn't the run for it, Kiwi. I really did consider it, though. I forgot to I am not used to having this boon at all, this mirror passive at all, and I am sorry.
Witch's Circle.
Oh, you know what? This room's gonna be awful with reduced dash range. Well, we still have good DPS. We just have very terrible survivability right now. But that's 1 witch down. Alright. I'll just use this statue for defensive purposes. Okay, that's 2 witches. Just need to deal with the Chaos Boon a little bit longer. There we go. Hi, Artemis. Didn't mean to see you here.
Hey, you're not alone. You're not alone down there, okay? Here, let me show you.
I like her reassurance there. You are not alone. Dash strike deals more damage, sure. I don't know if that works with Hestia Rail, but we're gonna assume that it does. But this should be the last room I have to clear for Chaos's boon. And then we have an extra Death Defiance, which is always welcome on a run where I'm supposed to be shooting myself in the foot and somehow have managed not to. The funny thing is, we don't even have max damage Hestia yet. We are down 1. I think we can still level it up twice, if not at least once. Which is wild to me, that we aren't even seeing its full potential yet. If I were really going to run a fun build with this, though, what I would do is, again, I'd take a Hestia's attack, I'd go for Ares and get his boon, I forgot what it's called, but basically it increases your damage by 100% on your special and your attack each time for one attack or special after killing an enemy, which in the trash mob rooms you'll constantly be having happen. We'll take the shop again here since we don't really need anything else. We'll just take the HP with our coin or whatever meta progression they offer. We'll take all this gladly.
Cheers, mate.
All right, so when we get to Elysium, everyone scream at your screen, Jeff, don't take...
Well, look at you, Lerny.
Jeff, just remember to reroll your rooms. I've trained myself out of dodging because of that chaos debuff. Alright, so that's the first phase of Lerny done. It is kind of disgusting what that first hit with Hestia does, though. It's so much damage. The one downside to any of the range-based weapons is their auto-target is sometimes a little bit... It leaves some things to be desired sometimes. There was a little bit of a lag in my mashing of that special launch there. Alright, that's one head down. Generally, the reason why speedrunners take extreme measures level 2 is because it makes it so you can kind of group the heads together. It doesn't work so well with Hestia just because Hestia is, again, doing mostly single target damage. But now I see how strong Triple Bomb is. I had heard it's really good. I just never have really gotten to use it. That was our first time we ever got it in our now 40-something playthrough runs. I mean, you're just gonna stand there and let me pump you full of whatever Hestia is made out of? Sure, gladly.
Enough. I'll just tuck that away.
Alright, another floor clear. We're making very good time, I have to say. This is a pretty strong build. And like, we're not even doing that much with it yet. Alright, we've sold all that. Keep Shattered Shackle. Anything I want to buy from here, gain that? Sure. So we've got some more darkness. Again, it's going to be a slow trickle to regain what we lost, but we'll make it. We'll get it. Gain a random item offered at the Will of Charon. I think I'll skip that for now. All right.
This damn heat.
All right, Kiwi. Remember, scream at your screen. If I am offered only one path and it leads to a boon, re-roll the room. I swear I am trying to do this boonless. I'm just terrible at it. All right, what have we got? Darkness. We'll take the darkness. They're not really offering me many keys that I could use for additional rerolls, which is the one downside to this.
Yes.
I've somehow missed my shots on these guys multiple times. They keep jumping out of the way. At least that time he dashed into it. Anyway, so I think those are really the two boons that I think of that you'd really want. Just the flat base damage from Aphrodite, and then the damage up on kill from Ares, and then everything else is just icing on the cake. All right, we'll take the HP here, but you could very easily pull off not Lambent Plume, but what's it called? You could very easily pull off the Pierced Butterfly, because it's so easy to not take damage with this sort of a build, because you just one-shot everything, and you have, like, I'll show you max range. Max range is like that. Like, look how safe this weapon is, because you're one-shotting things, and the things you're not one-shotting, you are so far out of their range that you have enough time to dodge their projectiles, or enough time to kill them before they can even get in melee range of you. Like, yeah, you're going to take hits in some of the rooms. It's kind of unavoidable. That's just the nature of these games. It's hard to play so consistently, so perfectly that you never take damage. But
for sale.
It's pretty easy not to. All right, we've got, that was a Centaur Heart for free. Well, not for free, for 100 coin, which is easy to afford. Excellent. All right, let's see what our second hammer is. Maybe we can get a rocket bomb on top of triple bomb. It would just be so strong. I'm obviously not running a special focus build, but like imagine if we had gotten that synergy on the Eris rail. That would be insane, the amount of DPS we could pull off with that. So I realized one thing about Aphrodite that I didn't recognize is that in terms of how strong she is as a god, like a god overall, like I look at her and I say, okay, her base numbers are ridiculously high, are among the highest of the offered options. So that makes me think, oh yeah, she's definitely good. But then I think about weak on paper. Weak is a really good status ailment for beginners and for casual players, but when you get to the higher levels of runs, where you're not supposed to be taking damage anyway, weak is kind of lackluster. It doesn't do much for you because, again, the whole point is you don't get hit. Or you should do your best to avoid getting hit. I know that's kind of a weird thought in this game for me because I'm so prone to getting hit, but realistically speaking, again, if you're running higher heats, you should go in with the mindset of minimizing damage as much as possible because you have no way of healing if you're running with that debuff on, or your healing is severely reduced if not. And then enemies deal a lot more damage too. All right, let's see. Your attack seeks the nearest foes and deals 10% more damage. Your attack is faster and more accurate. Your attack pierces foes and deals 50% damage to armor. I think we'll take Piercing Fire, because that means we can hit multiple enemies. We can hit through shields now, which will make, what's his name? Theseus easier to deal with. So yeah, that's the one. Okay, I'm going to remember. Altar.
I'll take another.
Okay. I think because these are mini-bosses, I can only get other gods? Yeah, alright. Well, we didn't have a choice.
A challenger.
A challenger approaches.
Armor, I was unable to best you one-to-one. Perhaps I lack as yet the necessary training to take full advantage of its benefit.
I don't know why, but I don't like his sprite art in the armor. I like him a lot better in his base form. Like not the 2D image with his text box, not the 3D model in the center of the screen.
I don't suppose you have some good acquaintances with whom to train until such time as you see fit to face me once again?
No. King Theseus is occupied with preparations of his own. You are my good acquaintance now.
Aw, we're friends. Theseus is gonna be so upset with us. A shame we didn't get the other special, but we don't really need it. But look at that. Like, the special does 450 damage. Our attack does another 250. Like, we have a really strong build for a potential Boonless build. We're just getting really unlucky with the brooms. Like, if we're going to try and go build Boonless, it's going to happen that we just don't get the RNG that we need some of the time. I'm going to try and bail out of that.
Yet. There we go.
I have to remember that with his armor he has AoEs instead of his little... Instead of his normal little, like, pink shockwaves that he does a big AoE around him. He's just walking at me menacingly, Kiwi. Alright, now he's spinning at me menacingly, and that's actually a lot easier to deal with.
Not yet.
Would have been funny if I had gotten hit by that immediately, right? Oh, I would love to hear if he comments on getting dizzy from that at some point. But yeah, I think next time we have to run the rail, I'll humor myself with that build idea. We'll go Aphrodite attack, we'll go Ares, and we'll just figure out whatever else works with the build after that point. Probably go for Artemis, so that you can get more. You can get crit chance.
Why, you are wielding Exegriff, the Rail of Adamant, a most fascinating device. Imagine the new face of war should its secrets someday be revealed and spread to mortal kind.
I feel like life would be a lot better if it didn't. But that's just one humble opinion on someone who knows nothing. All right, we will take the cast because we don't want to lose the damage that we have on the special or the... Oh, sure, now we get keys to reroll. Glad they were relevant and helpful. I'm only a little bit spiteful, it's fine. I'm gonna sneeze. Pardon me 1 second. about that. I'm not in a good setup where I can easily sneeze away from the mic, so better that I pause the camera and don't scream into it. I couldn't get it off on time. Anyway, so I guess I've rambled enough about this game. We've kind of gotten the gist of how this build is going to go. So what's next? So unfortunately, like I mentioned before, I'm kind of locked on at home for the next 3 weeks, aside from a very brief span where I'll get to visit Kiwi again. So I might be doing some streaming this week. I don't know. I make no promises on that. I definitely have been thinking about trying to do some streaming. I just don't know what game to stream. I'm feeling like a long-form JRPG would be fun. Certainly Persona 5 Royale is probably on the top of my list if I'm going that route. But I don't know. I've never played Persona 5. I've played Persona 4 up until you befriend Naoto, so I've never seen the end of the game either. So it would be fun to actually play a Persona game to completion if I could. But beyond that, I really don't have a good frame of mind. I've been mulling over the idea of playing some Minecraft at some point. I was going to start talking about it in the previous episode, but some projects that I've been thinking about for like more long form on this channel. We'll take the fish. We'll take the HP. Sure. Give me fish and give me coin. But aside from returning to some of the projects that had already been started, like Undertale, like Ori, the other big thing that I've been mulling over the idea of is a long-form video where I ramble about, or like I go into a lot of detail about a MMO that I've played for a very long time called Dungeon Fighter Online. I'm close to almost 2 decades playing that game now, I think, which is kind of wild when I put it on paper and say it out loud and feel very self-conscious about the reality that I have been living in for so long. But I was thinking about doing like kind of in a similar flair to Josh Strife Hayes' worst MMO ever. I don't know if I'd be so bold as to call it that, but just kind of the idea of someone doing a very focused deep dive into every aspect of a game, from narrative to gameplay to everything in between, and sharing my personal experiences, feelings, and enjoyment or lack thereof of its various features, and seeing what comes of it. Because, I mean, nothing puts someone to sleep quite like someone rambling about their niche special interest, right? I think that's kind of the point. But I could very easily ramble for at least an hour, probably 2 or 3 hours about DFO easily. So I figure why not try that? Sure, it would have to be probably a more edited video and a more involved process to make happen. So that's definitely not happening until I have more free time to do those sorts of projects. But it's definitely something I've been mulling the idea over. Like, DFO, it has so many different character classes that you can play. Well, they all have different subclasses, to the point they're about... like, there's going to be some overlap, but if you're being generous, there's about 61, I think? Somewhere between 61 and 64 unique gameplay styles in that game, which is insane to me. And all the classes have their own unique vibes. They're all fun. They all have their unique kind of like in-game lore and personality, and it's fun to read about it and play it. And I'd love to kind of just highlight that along with the story, which I do find relatively interesting. It's standard MMO fare. You're not necessarily the fated hero initially, but you certainly become one as you kind of meddle in the affairs of others over time. And like every character has their different origin story and like background for their powers. And the power systems themselves are interesting too. And the setting is kind of a post-apocalyptic world, but also it does one of my favorite tropes, which is kind of what I would call a sky ocean, where basically there are 2 worlds, the overworld and the underworld. We'll call it for lack of to avoid like a more in-depth description of it, which isn't strictly necessary to this conversation. Whoop, hold on, getting caught on a wall. But like, and they're separated by an ocean, and it's a really cool concept. I've always loved that idea of like the sky being water, because I mean, when you think about it, swimming just feels like flying in the water if you look at it from below. At least that's how I always see it. Maybe I'm not. Maybe you hold a different opinion to me on that one, but that's how I've always visualized swimming. It's effectively flying, but in water. And if you remove the water, flying and swimming don't look that different from someone who doesn't know better. Yeah. This is an unideal arrangement. Let's try and get rid of this thing. Okay. One less butterfly ball means one less thing that can hit me. Oh, there are Hot Wheels everywhere. I'm gonna. I tried to kite them into the wall to hopefully. I still call them Hot Wheels. They're flame wheels, but I'm trying to kite them into walls so that I don't have to deal with them. Okay, I think we got the room, and then there we go. Ooh, that one was a challenging room. At least we can hopefully get this shop and get more HP from it. Yeah, I'll take the shop because I should easily have enough coin on the next floor if I just farm a room or two. Alright. I agree. Nothing great, Charon, but thank you. I'll take the Centaur Heart, and we got some darkness for the next run, so this is fine. Alright, so we have to deal with Theseus and Asterius. But anyway, so...
Brothers in death!
Oh my goodness, Theseus, calm down.
Come forth, blackguard, and you shall soon be crushed under the massive wheels of the finest chariot the world has ever known.
You only have that chariot because of me, you know. It's all because of a condition of the Pact of Punishment. Nothing you did or earned, so drop the act.
Zagreus is so fed up.
What? You claim to be my benefactor, when in truth, you are my figuratively mortal enemy? I'll do the chariot equivalent of trample you.
I think that's still trampling. Alright, I do need to be careful because Theseus has a lot of damage. He's just kind of easy to avoid if you just don't stand in his path, so he's not that big of a deal unless you stand in his path, like I just did. Oh my goodness, Asterius. That was quite the pathing you just took. Alright, I may lose a Death Defiance, but that doesn't really matter that much when I have 4 of them. Asterius, please. I swear, this bullman has, like, can turn on a dime every time, and I never am ready to have it. Oop, there's my Death Defied. That's fine. Alright, there's second phase Asterius. I just focus on dodging and getting in hits where I can. Like, our DPS is very solid right now. It's just mostly... It's a little bit limited by enemies being able to move. So I bet it would be really good with a Demeter boon to just slow down their mobility. Or maybe Trippy Shot. I feel like Trippy Shot would be a little bit more hit or miss. Just because it doesn't actually stun these guys, I think. Not consistently, at least. Imagine if we could race Theseus. That would be pretty funny. Ah, he clipped me with that, unfortunate. Oh my goodness, I might actually lose a second Death Defiance. Why hasn't he used that this whole fight until just now? That would have made it a lot easier to DPS him. Maybe he learned from our previous fight, I don't know.
Are you enjoying yourselves in the stands?
Well, if nothing else, Theseus knows how to, like, get the crowd involved in hype.
You shall soon be destroyed.
I like that he does basically a full lap and then tires out.
The feet has fangs.
He's getting caught on that little stand. That's kind of funny. Oh, hello. I'm gonna wait for him. I was too slow. Okay. Fair enough. We should have him any second now to get off his chariot. He's almost at half health. Sorry, I had to commentary died down a little bit just so that I could focus a bit better on the fight, because I definitely took more damage than I strictly needed to. I guess we have to get him to a third. Alright, any second now. He's gonna get off his high horse. There we go.
How many times?
Every time. Always.
Olympus, help me, please!
Sounds a little desperate there, Theseus. I think that was Demeter, but it's kind of purpley. Maybe it is Poseidon. I don't know. It looks puffy like the usual fare for Demeter, but yeah, okay. Yep, it was Demeter. Okay, I was right. It also looked kind of splashy, which is more Poseidon's aesthetic. All right, so I needed to focus a little bit more there, but we're fine.
The good stuff.
All right, so I've got 3 rerolls, which in theory should be enough to get me, hopefully.
I shall have to have a word with our chief Theseus.
Yeah, we'll take the heal here for sure. Okay, so I've still easily got enough coin to afford
Cheers.
a Titan Blood. Anyway, so that's one major project, the whole DFO project. Talk about all the classes, talk about the gameplay, the music, how each subclass plays. Like there's so much that I could talk about, and that could easily, like I could see that video easily making it to 4 hours if I really wanted it to. And if my goal is to put Kiwi to sleep talking about something that I love, I'm sure she would really enjoy that, and I would really enjoy that too, but that would be a monumental undertaking for me. So again, that's not a plan for at least until I get to my break from work. Ugh, we got a diamond instead of a Titan Blood. I would much prefer the Titan Bloods right now. They are much more relevant to my interests right now. So that's fine. Ah, he got me. But beyond that, the other big project that I've been mulling over the idea of is, so I'm into One Piece. I think I've definitely talked about it here or there in various episodes on this channel. I have certainly talked about my love for One Piece, and I've recently come across a YouTube channel called Melon, I think Melon Tree, or it might be Melon. It's Melon T, double E with that T. T-E-E is how you spell it for full clarity. And she has been doing a lot of like thematic and story beat analysis of the major One Piece arcs and characters, and it's been a lot of fun listening to those and having Kiwi listen to them with me and try to introduce her to the world and the characters. And One Piece is definitely one of those stories that really holds a close place in my heart, because it's so long running. You kind of you get into a story and you watch it develop over the course of who knows how long I will actually do. It's been over 25 years now, which is wild to think about. It's been around that long. It's been that much a part of my life. And so I want to share that with her, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend watching the anime. The anime has too much filler, and the manga is a bit harder to come by, since she doesn't like to read on her she doesn't like to read manga on her phone. She'd rather have a hard copy, and I mean, when you have 1,000+ chapters of a manga, that's quite the financial undertaking to acquire all those copies of the manga to read. So what I was thinking about doing, since I don't mind reading on Shueisha's free app, the whole series again, I was thinking about revisiting it, because I'm up to date. I'm following the manga actively. I kind of dropped off the manga in the Fishman Island arc, following the time skip, just because the pacing was rough, and after following the Marineford arc, which, this is a lot of stuff that doesn't necessarily mean a lot to Kiwi, but basically you have one of the peak climactic moments with a huge, unexpected turn of events as to what the outcome of that event was, where you just see a whole lot of characters just breaking down, separated. The status quo that the series had developed up until that point was toppled on its head, and you don't know what to do. And you follow that with not necessarily a bad arc, but just not an arc that had nearly the same impact on me personally. So it was just, I couldn't get into it. I didn't like the villain of that arc nearly as much. And the thing about the villain of the Marineford arc is there really wasn't a true villain. It was just kind of the world at large, the world forces were the villain, but they're not true villains. They're just upholding their sense of justice, which can be a villainous thing to do in some aspects, potentially, but Marineford doesn't have a true villain that you can necessarily recognize.
Should come in useful.
So it was, I don't know, it did not The point being is, I don't think the anime has severe pacing issues. The manga is less accessible to Kiwi and her preferences for experiencing a medium. And while I do recommend the live-action One Piece interpretation, and I do think we'll watch that together at some point, I think it does a decent representation of what One Piece's heart is, especially as you get to the latter half of it. I think it was a little bit of a slow burn when I started it, but come the end of the production, like especially when, of course, Arlong Park. Arlong Park is where like you really get a sense of, is One Piece going to be for you? And again, for Kiwi's reference, that is just a plot point. It is an arc where we get kind of the backstory of the navigator of the crew, Nami, and kind of her traumas, her backstory, that sort of thing. And we really get a sense of what it means to be, what the crew members of One Piece really are like, and what they do for, how much they go out of their way to help each other. So it's a really important arc where you really get to see how good Oda is at crafting his characters' stories and making you love these characters and how they interact with each other and how they support each other. So for a lot of people say that Arlong Park is the part of the story where you truly understand whether One Piece is for you or not. Well stocked by 9 Well of Charon items and 1 escape attempt. But what I'm trying to get at... Oh, cool, we got the Satyr Sec.
This time.
Kiwi, we've got the chance at the Boonless dialogue. Let's see what happens. I know this run wasn't truly Boonless, but at least we're going to beat Hades without any boons. Right? Right? I mean, Chaos boons don't count. We established that. According to the game, Chaos boons do not count. What happens if you buy a pomegranate without any boons? I'm curious.
Pleasure doing business.
Spare wealth. Huh. Okay. So I gained 55 gold.
Gods grant me strength.
That's funny. That's cool, actually. That's kind of cute that they actually give you something for it. I appreciate that.
Vigilant Cerberus decides to look the other way this once.
Wait, what? When did we get 345 HP? I wasn't paying attention, but we've gotten a lot of Centaur hearts, haven't we?
Now, boy.
Anyway, we're gonna go beat up Dad. But
Stop me.
as far as the project that I'm alluding to goes, I haven't figured out what game I would play it over, but what I want to do is kind of read each chapter of One Piece and really digest it, appreciate the art, appreciate the subtleties, and comment on all of that and share it with Kiwi in a video form.
Odd. No stink of Olympus on you this time. Have you truly come all this way without assistance from your relatives? Or were you overzealous at a pool of purging?
I was both.
Wouldn't you like to know? Not even Nyx believed that I could come this far without aid from the Olympians. Maybe I just have a knack for proving everybody wrong.
You have a knack for being struck down in various ignoble ways. That much is certain. Come then. Show me what you yourself can do.
Well, we got the custom dialogue. I think this is the purging pool specific dialogue. There is one where if you truly do not get any boons, maybe. Or maybe we can get that if we haven't gotten the... now that we've gotten this dialogue once. I'm not sure how it works, frankly. Good to know I can one-shot his little bloodstones. Oop, I'm gonna get hit by that. But, so anyway, so I would read each chapter, like, things I would comment on, little subtleties, like facial expressions, the cover art, that... I love how the manga of One Piece has, like, its own individual stories on the cover art that are telling you about what the background characters are doing at that time. And maybe I would also simultaneously watch some of the anime in parallel and talk about some of the things that the anime does well, like the fight scenes, like the voice actors, because I do think the voice actors from One Piece did a phenomenal job making you really love these characters. Like, there are scenes that I think, even if you do not watch, or you do not want to watch the anime, I still think there are things that are worth seeing being animated. Year 5, Robin's declaration of how she wants to live, Nami's desperate plea for help. They're all majorly poignant moments in the narrative that are just improved upon by the quality of those involved in its anime production. Like Studio Pierrot as a whole, who I think have been largely responsible for the One Piece anime for a long time, and Toei Animation being kind of the producer, maybe? I don't remember how it works. I think Studio Pierrot might be like a subsidiary of Toei Animation. I'm not sure how it works, honestly. But they are notorious for maybe having some production issues sometimes. I mean, classically, they did the animation for Naruto Shippuden and probably Naruto before it. Shippuden is just kind of the sequel to Naruto, the original. And the Pain fight where Naruto is fighting Pain, there are some really wacky animation decisions, most likely done for budget limiting effect, that definitely didn't look the best, let's say. But it just, to their credit, there are instances where what they did with that anime, especially like with the higher budget scenes when they choose to afford them, they do some good stuff. They cook real well. So there's definitely a high... the main issue I have is just the anime's pacing is very off. There's a lot of filler in the middle of an episode. It's not like a filler arc where you normally would like have this separate plot arc to buy time for the manga to get a little bit ahead of the anime. No, it's just like reaction shots and gags and stuff that just completely throw off the pacing of major events in this series. And it gets worse the later the show goes on, I find. Maybe that's not so much the case now, but I mean, I tried to watch the most recently airing arc that I watched was Wano, because I had heard the animation budget went way up for the Wano production, and it did. But I'm watching this and I'm seeing the same scene being played 3 times in a row, and I'm like over the course of one episode and then into the next, they played the same scene of Luffy bouncing on something, and it kind of was like, well, I see that the animation itself looks better, but what does that matter if the pacing is still terrible? But like, there are Oda is a master of show don't tell, which is difficult. It's difficult to do that. It's so much easier, and especially in like shonen where they always tell don't show. But Oda has so many little subtle nuances to his writing that you miss if you don't hunt for them or if you don't have them pointed out. And the character backstories, the character interactions, the cover art, telling these backstories that you wouldn't even know are going on to just give you additional information about some of the characters from previous arcs and what they're doing at a given time. There are so many things that just come together to make this beautiful picture of a story that is so full and rich of beautiful, wonderful, fun, creative characters, world, and events that keep playing out despite them not being in the front of the frame on a panel of the manga, in a frame of the animation. Things are still happening in this world, and I think I've told you about them, Kiwi, but there are, like, after every major event, there's usually a moment where you just kind of catch up with other characters and see how are they interacting with the world events that have happened with the main cast. And it's those arcs are just so fun, because you're like, oh, so that's how they're going to react, that makes sense. Or, oh my goodness, I'm getting overwhelmed with shockwaves.
No, you don't.
Like, I am clearly focusing on commentary over this boss fight. I'm just kind of chilling with Dad, honestly. This is a super slow fight, but I'm having so much fun gushing about what I love most about One Piece. And that's what I mean. Like, this is something that I can talk about so easily, but I haven't experienced the early parts of One Piece in so long. Like, the original... I never actually read the manga for the first couple chapters. I started reading the manga around Fishman Island, yeah. So like, up until that point, I had been anime exclusive. And not just that, I had started with the 4Kids Animation anime, which, if you know anything about 4Kids Animation, you know that they had, let's say, some interesting interpretations of how to animate certain things. Very rated.
You have your mother's perseverance. How is it that you got this strong?
Like, they replaced, they had to, like, make it very childproof. Let's say they replaced guns with water guns, and beer was replaced with orange juice, and Sanji smokes, and they made it a lollipop, that sort of thing. They replaced someone's gun with, like, a boxing glove on a button, or like you close a clamp and it shoots a punching glove. It's ridiculous, some of the edits they did. Anyway, let's let Hades talk.
Such strength, boy.
But this is what I mean. I can gush about this series. I love it, and it would be so
very sore right now.
It would be so fun to just properly re-experience that story and then share it with you. And
snakes and serpents rank amongst the creatures somewhat known to Zagreus due to their presence in the underworld. So it is with delight that he approaches one upon the surface, greeting it as a familiar friend. It greets him venomously back, using its fangs.
Oh no!
And so those are probably the two big projects. Me gushing about a game I love and me gushing about a story, world, set of characters, and all the interactions those bring as well.
I did it, I think.
And those are going to be huge projects. Those are going to be huge undertakings. The reality of it is I probably wouldn't finish them in the time span I have before I have to resume work after winter break. But I'm damn well going to try, maybe. Maybe, I guess. I don't know. Right now, I certainly feel passionate about it, so who knows? Maybe that's something to look forward to.
Welcome to the House of Hades, where death is our life.
Take care.
And for anyone else passing through, if you think that's a fun idea, if you have any recommendations, I'm always open to feedback.
Greetings, costly artwork.
I love that I am in a public space where I can get opinions and learn new things. I know comments are few and far between, but if you're here, you're listening, and you have something to say, please do. I love that kind of engagement. It's nothing short of amazing to have people willing to listen to what I ramble about beyond Kiwi. And obviously this channel is for Kiwi, but it's fun. It's fun to share these experiences, even if it's just me rambling over a game I love.
Achilles, I meant to ask, did you know that Coronach the Heartseeker once belonged to the centaur Chiron? Because one of its aspects is his own. He didn't have it back when you trained with him, did he?
Master Chiron, truly? Ah, of course. He granted me a spear, I think you know. If he possessed one such weapon, why not more? I remember his bow shined like the sun. It was splendid and never missed its mark, though I attributed that to Chiron's extraordinary skill.
I'm sure his skill did most of the work.
Answer me something, Zagreus. What am I to you exactly, as of late? Because sometimes with you,
I'm sometimes at a loss myself, Thanatos. Though one thing I know is it's always really good running into you out there. It's, well, exciting. Sparring with you and all that. And then I know it means that I might get to see you here.
Well, here I am. But you didn't answer my question. Though you know something, forget I asked. I've got to go.
Wait.
A complicated little lover spat.
The much-feared Cerberus licks endlessly at something on the floor.
How very dog of
See
you.
Boy.
Oh, Orpheus is missing. Okay. Can I relax?
No time to rest.
Ah, a shame. All right.
Get back.
I can't give any of you nectar. Okay.
Prince Zagreus? I just wanted to say something. If you have a little time, I know you're really busy. I can come back.
Say it.
Wait, no, now's fine, of course. What is it, Dusa? I'm not so busy, by the way, and always happy to check in. Wait, is something wrong?
I lost my voice immediately upon trying to say it.
No. It's just the opposite. I can't believe you helped me with the lounge. I don't think anyone has ever helped me out like you did, cleaning up after Cerberus and the new rug and the kitchen and just all of this.
It was my pleasure, really. All of us use the lounge, don't we? This house can really be a lot, but in the lounge here, things are easier a bit, I think. I'm so glad we have you watching over it.
You really mean that, Prince? But you don't know what this means to me. I'm finally caught up on work. What am I gonna do? I don't know what I'm gonna do with all this extra time. I have to go and plan everything out.
Aw. She actually has free time. I'm glad for her. She sounds really happy. Enjoy your time.
Take care now.
There we go. All right, we've unlocked more friendliness progression with her. Okay.
I have to ask you for a favor, Meg. And I'm willing to make it worth your while if you'll hear me out.
A proposition, Zagreus. Let's hear it then, while I'm in a charitable mood.
It's about Sisyphus. If I can get my father to alleviate his sentence, would you just ease off of him a little bit? You and your sisters. I think he's suffered quite enough under your whips.
I don't know what you see in him, I swear. But you don't need to ask such things of me. If you can overturn his sentence with Lord Hades, I'd like nothing better than to never see that miserable shade again.
It's a deal.
All right. I guess we need to figure out how to turn that over, and I'm assuming it's either a house contractor thing or something we find in the archives.
Look at what I caught, Chef.
+1 nectar. Excellent.
You're doing business.
All right. So we're coming up on the point where I'm running out of characters to give nectar that aren't gods.
Nix, have you seen Charon lately? Everything all right with him? I can never tell how he's doing.
Charon and I have not lately taken opportunities to correspond. But he has always been among the least dependent of my children, other than perhaps only the fates. This much I know and can assure to you. He always is content to steer his boat.
And to bring undead chaos and death to those who oppose his oar.
I suppose you were the one to thank for his assistance when it comes to selling me his wares and such.
No, he is the one to thank. Do not mistake his lack of speech for lack of cleverness. He serves this house as I do, but he does not answer to me.
Doesn't answer to me either.
Do not
check the garden.
Do not mistake his lack of speech for lack of cleverness. I like that line.
Sometimes I still cannot believe that you are here, returned to us. Your radiance in all this darkness. You must miss seeing the coast.
The coast was nice enough, Hades. But nothing is ever perfect, right? No matter how hard you try. Still, I think we get quite close around here every once in a while.
It's interesting how you can still tell that Hades is hurting. He's afraid to lose her again, and he's so insecure that he's asking, aren't there things out there that you would have preferred more or miss?
You have taken much less time adjusting to this place than when first you joined us. Pardon my surprise. I myself was forced to be here. I never thought anyone would come from the surface here by choice.
And that's cool. They make it more complex by making it a sense of he's still his first experience here was also sordid and uncomfortable and trying, and so he's afraid that he's imposing upon her that as well.
The heart can make us do the strangest things, can't it?
And it's nice that she's maybe not directly assuaging his fears, but saying, definitely implying that she is happy here and that she loves him.
Indeed.
The heart does make strange things happen, Kiwi.
What do these shades have to say for themselves?
There has to be a way out of here, doesn't there? Cause of death, ancient curse. Alright, let's go ahead and give some nectars out down here.
Well, for me? I can't accept something like this, lad. You know that.
Come on, Achilles, live a little. Such as you're able. I won't tell if you won't tell.
Alright, let's see if we can find anything in the archives this time. How about a bad joke?
Some mortals don't believe in ghosts, but I believe in you.
Yeah, corporate propaganda, let's go. Alright, nothing that I can see that I can interact with just yet.
How goes it, Shades?
Look, I'm telling you there must be some mistake. Cause of death, old age. Yeah, you definitely did not die of old age. Oh, hey, we can give Persephone that she's out here. I didn't realize you can reset them.
Oh, this is wonderful, except I'm racked with guilt for having nothing much to give you in return. You never even got a mother's love from me.
It's never too late to receive that, Persephone.
Please don't say that. It's just a gift, all right? Besides, can't we start now? Mother and son type things, if you would like.
I'd like that even more than this fine nectar, Zagreus.
Good. Alright, we're down to 5 nectar, so I'll start conserving it a little bit more again. I want to make sure that I give them to the encounter characters, so Sisyphus, Patroclus, and Eurydice. Oh, we've got a new prophecy. What's this about?
Another prophecy fulfilled.
A place of revelry. The son of the god of the dead shall make certain attempts to aid a tireless Gorgon assigned to bring part of the house to height of splendor. Employ the house contractor to help renovate the lounge. Acquired 4 diamonds.
This has got everything under control, I hope.
Nice. Okay. So let's go ahead and reset this mirror back to what I usually play with. So stick with Deep Pockets and go back to Faded Persuasion. Alright, let's see what our next run will be and give a good hello to Scully.
About time you showed up.
All right. Oh, we're getting another bow run.
A
Okay.
relationship, boyo, requires no exchange of words.
Excellent.
Coronact hungers.
All right, Kiwi.
Coronact, reveal your secrets.
Coronact hungers. Coronact reveals. All right, we still aren't maxed out on Coronact, but we're pretty up there. I'm mulling the idea over.
No, keep hitting me.
You know what? Since we're pretty early on in this win streak, I have an idea. I have a terrible idea. But maybe we do this. Gosh, it's hard to get to 32 heat. I don't actually know what else I'd want to take. I guess hide in security. I guess I have to take forced overtime. Alright, Kiwi. Next run. 32 heat. Will this go well? Probably not. But I'm willing to risk the win streak for it. Because we're early enough in on it that it's not going to hurt me. Too bad. Think I can do it? I think I can do it. Next time. But with all that said, Kiwi, I love you. I hope you're sleeping well. And if you're awake, I hope this is helping you fall asleep. In the next one, 32 heat. On the aspect of Coronact. Let's do this.